Hey guys, welcome back to Black, White, and the Grays. My name is Kylie, and today we're gonna go out and just get some beds prepped. If we plant, I don't know if we will. I'm having thoughts. Today we had some snow this morning. Yesterday we had snow. And then we warm up really well. Today is in the 40s, which is cold, and we had snow. I don't even actually know if it's up to 40 yet. It's still in the 30s. Yesterday we had snow. Tomorrow is going to be 60s. The next day is almost going to be 80. And then we drop back down. And then Sunday I think is a high of like 36, 35, 34, somewhere in there. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna keep prepping beds. I'm weeding a lot. Technically I'm not doing no dig right now because we have some aggressive dang weeds that I'll show you them that will not leave. And after this is the third season of no dig in our large garden, they're just extremely difficult weeds to get rid of. I don't have any of them in my small garden, and no dig has worked out perfectly in there. Where I have some more stubborn weeds, it's definitely been working in most beds, but we have an underground river that goes underneath our property, which is very beneficial for our wells, but it is not beneficial for garden, and this grass grows where the river is. So I'll show it to you. But first, I gotta go get my super high powered tractor. So got my first load of compost. Then I realized I haven't actually weeded that bed. These are my awesome glasses. I can spot a forest fire in them. I would like to tell you that this was a joke, but it's not. And I have to wear these now every fire season. It's not quite fire season yet, but for the benefit of and the safety of all Central Oregonians, because these things can spot fire like no else. They're so old. They're like farm glasses, sunglasses now. But it's like it's a joke in my family because it's like, oh, Kylie's got her forest fire glasses on, but it's real. There's something about the tint, and you can see it like picks up smoke that a naked eye might think is clouds or not see it at all, but these, they do. So these are valuable. They're all scratched up, painted on, but they do a good job, especially, and they stay on your face. You garden and your sunglasses are falling down all the time. It's a pain in the butt. So staying on the face is a big perk. So we do a no dig style. We do like Charles Dowding's method of no dig. But we've been dealing with this, we call it a wiregrass. I don't know the official name of it. It is this tubular grass. Let's just go show it to you. I've been digging it out of my bed. Not every bed has it, but some do. And it looks like this. And the roots, you're gonna see some cardboard it took up with it. And the roots look like this. And this is why I call it wiregrass, because, well, it kind of looks like barbed wire, and the roots will go deep into the ground. But what happened with my walkways, see, it just was all along this, it was growing up underneath my weed fabric and along the sides of it. Because I'm dealing with that grass, we had to dig. I'm literally digging it out where I find it, trying not to disturb a lot of the soil. But then we also have brought in, I have my 2 piglets in here, and they're kind of tilling up the soil. I thought it was pretty heavy till, and then after the dirt settles down, it's a pretty light till. They get in there, and they're not doing as thorough job as I wanted them to. I really wanted to get in there and get the sod that was growing up. This must have been all grassy area before we lived here. We bought a foreclosure, so we never got in contact with the owner, so we have no idea what was here. There were irrigation lines ran, but they were all busted. They used PVC, and so it was just kind of like deserted land. It didn't look like there were any nutrients. Nothing had been cultivated, but apparently it was, because there's a lot of old sod like good sod popping up now in the pathways now that we have started to manage it. But when you're growing a garden, you don't necessarily want sod growing. I have contemplated living pathways and doing that type of thing where you have grass growing, but I do think it'd be too much work. Right now I'm trying to manage. We're not going to be selling vegetables much. We'll sell our extras to a friend of ours that does a small market, but we aren't going to be selling vegetables like on the farm stand like we did in years past. We really want to focus in on our family and preserving what we have grown on our farm. It's actually given me more of a passion because everything I'm growing and starting is for my family. And it's amazing what that does to it just makes it so much more valuable and personal to me. We are still doing cut flowers. I actually have some sunflowers I planted in the high tunnel as an experiment to see how it went in March, and they're popping up. So that was kind of fun to see. But these walkways, most walkways of my walkways have landscape fabric, and then we put wood chips on because we thought it would be aesthetically pleasing, and also we were doing cardboard in a few rows, and I prefer cardboard over landscape fabric, one, because of the cost, but then how large we were getting this garden, it ended up taking way too much time and way too much cardboard to do the aisleways that way. So we ended up purchasing some weed fabric, and it was able to get the job done way faster. Now, the downside is weed fabric, one, it obviously doesn't decompose like cardboard does and make beautiful soil and healthier like environment for it. And it also was trapping the weeds in between with the mulch decomposing the weeds, anything that was going to seed, grasses, random herbs, random vegetables were getting caught in the wood. They were able to grow and reseed in the wood chips. So the wood chip pathways were just becoming a weedy mess, which I don't want to spend my time weeding pathways. So right now I'm currently ripping up I'll show you. I'm currently ripping up the landscape fabric, kind of rolling it up. This one I'm put back down and then weeding the beds and letting them dry out. But here is a pathway where the weed fabric was, and we rolled it up. We did it there, and we're gonna do it all the way down. And then essentially I'm putting the compost, if it's decent. Oh, here's that wiregrass again. I'll dig that up. Anywhere that is in these first 4 beds, I'm just digging it out. It gets less and less as we go down, but there's so many weeds that were growing in and under the landscape fabric. Now with it up, we have this beautiful pathway, but I am putting the landscape fabric back down. It is black, so it is going to draw the heat, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I think it'll just be beneficial. And I'm also going to be mulching. I think the look of the black, beautiful compost is gorgeous on your beds, but the mulch, with learning the past 2 years, this will be our 3rd year growing in here. Yes. This will be our 3rd year growing in this space, and having mulch on the garlic or the potatoes, and they were in between different, this bed was lettuce and carrots, and then we had a few rows of potatoes, and then beets, and then anything that wasn't mulched obviously needed more watering, and then the potatoes were starting to suffer because they were getting too soggy, and that creates a lot of rotten problems in the potatoes. So, and in the garlic, I had to pull my garlic early because it was getting too, it was starting to rot. So I had to pull it. So my bulbs weren't as big as I wanted them to be. I mean, by the looks of it, I'm looking at my garlic. We have it, it's popping up. It's a good 3 to 4 inches, most of it. We're going to have a good, Lord willing, a good harvest out of here again. And we still have so much garlic. That's going to be another video, is processing last year's garlic before it goes bad. It's just starting to. But the moral of the story is the mulch, yes, it does bring in weeds, but it does such a good thing for us, especially where we live in a drought-prone, extremely dry climate, high desert area. The mulch is extremely beneficial. So we will be doing, I have a ton of old hay, I got a ton of old straw, and we're just going to be lightly layering getting a nice layer of whatever mulch, grass clippings, whatever we can get our hands on our beds, each bed, because it did such a phenomenal job with moisture and way less watering. If we can save on watering, that's a win. If we can not let our other crops get dry or start rotting, that's a win. We live in such a dry area. Most parts of Oregon aren't. I wouldn't say most. I'd say, like, if you're familiar with Oregon, you're familiar with probably, there's so many terrains. There's coastal Oregon, there's the Valley of Oregon, there's Southern Oregon, there's Central Oregon, there's Eastern Oregon, and all of us are extremely diverse. You go an hour and a half east, you're in a completely different climate. You go an hour and a half west, completely different climate. And it's just kind of wild. We don't deal with any slug pressure or anything like that. We're way too dry for any of that pests. But we do deal with droughts. So it's just something I'm going to experiment with. I love the look of the black. And I also think that now that the weed fabric is being ripped up and visible this year, that and the weeds, we can just literally, we can pluck them out of the beds and sweep them into a pile and throw them in the compost or give them to the cows or chickens, whoever. But the weed fabric is going to be black, and the actual beds will have straw or hay on them, so they'll be brown. So right here so here's our garlic patch, and the wood chips, it's not that big of a difference between the coloring, but it will be once the aisleways are black. And that's just where we're gonna go. So now this is a bed which is completely weedy. I gotta clean up my fabric, and then I'm gonna get my wheel or my stirrup hoe in here and just get up some grass, and then I'm going to lay down this fresh load of compost that I got. This is last year's compost. Can we discuss compost real quick? It's astronomical. The prices, we get it from a cheaper place. We get it, and it's normally, it's the recycling center, and they deliver it. Delivery's gone up $15 from last year a load. And also the compost has gone up significantly. Last year we paid $18 a yard for plant compost. This year it's $26 plus a $75 delivery for 6 yards. And we got 12. So it's still doable, but last year we got 25, 35 yards. This year I'm getting 12, hopefully making do, and I have a compost that is our own compost that's been composting for a year. I have 2 piles of that, and we're gonna make it work. And then our neighbor graciously gives us super aged horse manure every year. So we'll be doing that again, and we're gonna make it work, because just like everywhere in life, you can say, doesn't matter if you're well off or if you're struggling right now, the world is going through some hard times. This year I'm not wanting to spend a crap ton of money on gardening. Obviously seeds and compost are necessary, but I'm really wanting to utilize our animals as much as possible. The cows and the pigs and the goats are going to start going in possibly today if I get them going, but they will be starting to go in a rotation in the pasture. And we don't have that much. We have a couple acres out there, but they are going to start rotating through our 2 acres out there and staying 3 weeks to a month in a paddock. And we're just going to see what we can do, build soil life, hopefully get some grass growing. It's hard when we don't have irrigation rights, and we live in a high desert, so it's like, it's hard to get some good stuff. But I'm hoping if I could build some soil, it'll help. We'll see what's going on, but here we go. I got half done. It looks very nice. I got the other half. Everything's weeded. It just needs to either be picked up to go to the compost pile or over to the chickens or whoever. And this is why it's so tempting not to mulch these, because these look so beautiful just composted. Fresh layer of compost. It's gorgeous. But keep in mind the benefits of mulching. This week is just kind of ugly garden, getting these garden beds cleaned up and going. I have an actual tractor coming in a couple weeks, like one of the last 2 weekends of April, and I'm just going to, I have my compost coming on in 2 days, my big compost delivery that comes, and then I'll rent my tractor in the next 2 weeks, and I already got it on the books, and then I'll just come out here and bang out these beds. I am doing some by hand just to get them going, but that week is when we're really gonna go crazy, and the tractor will allow me to put a couple bucket loads of compost on each bed and be ready. So I'm just getting things prepared. So my goal is to get all of these weed fabrics up, get them down, clean up these beds a little bit, get them ready to go to get prepped. I'm gonna switch around irrigation. It's just go time. See the Piggly Wigglies? They are living here. After they're done, they've done 2 other rows. I'm gonna put some tarps down, some plastic tarping, gray plastic tarping. That's what I have. It'd be better if it was black, but it is what it is. And we're gonna kind of silage tarp this area because we're not ready to plant it yet. Hey guys, it's actually like the next night, but I have been working today in the garden. So I'm gonna show you what I did. Okay, so I got this bed done. I think I told you I was ripping up the pathways. This one actually was just cardboard, so I had purchased some weed fabric. It came today, so this one's gonna be nice and shiny. This one, it's just a disaster zone out here. It's just a work in progress, but I was actually surprised to see how much soil we have added. This was a barren place. It didn't have jack crap, no soil life, nothing. But we've added, like, I don't know how much this camera is picking up, but it's like a foot, maybe a foot and a half of soil in the last 3 years. I haven't yet to put fresh layer of compost on this. I know these few beds, because of the major wiregrass issue I've been dealing with, had gotten more compost because I was trying to get rid of it, so I layered more cardboard. I have been working like a dog, digging it out, and I can't do it all alone. My little boys came out and helped me today, and they love to hammer the stakes in for the weed fabric, and they love ripping the weed fabric up. And so I only have 1 bed fully dressed with compost. Our compost delivery comes tomorrow, which said it's like half of what we got last year, but we have a lot of our homegrown, and Lord willing, the neighbors will let us use their aged horse manure again this year. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds, basically all weeded and ready. And if the compost arrives, our tractor rental doesn't happen until the end of April. Who knows, at this rate, we got the lawnmower and trailer going. I might just haul it out myself. It's getting late, it's like 8 o'clock. This is a funny story. So 2 years ago, I think, I put up these solar Christmas lights on the greenhouse, and then they never worked, and we got a bunch of snow and they just never worked. They started working actually last summer, berserkly, and they're at like the most obnoxious, yeah, that's right, we're super, and they catch my eye because I can see them from my kitchen window out here, and they freak me out. Now it's just hysterical. They do not work at Christmas time ever. But they always work when it's garden time. So this is how you know it's a party out here, because of my crazy lights. They only work, I don't know, they never work when they're supposed to. But I think there's a different setting where it won't give you a seizure, but I can't figure it out. And so, with party greenhouse. Anyway, so there's the update. Let's wrap this video up, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. I have a praise report. Okay, so our golf cart's been broke down we do this on the channel. If you're new here, I do some praise reports, typically every video, so you've probably seen it if you stay till the end. And we've had our golf cart, and Trey got it for me. We got it last year, we brought it home, it worked okay, it works pretty good. And then it just, like, I thought the batteries were bad, even though it was a used golf cart. And the guy who had sold it to us, family members had bought several golf carts from him because we use them for farm runarounds. And ours just crapped out. But it was like, he lived in Eugene, so it was like a couple-hour drive to haul it all the way back in the back of a pickup truck to see what it was. So yeah, my cousin's husband came over. He's an engineer, he's a smarty pants, and he came over and tinkered with it, and he said he didn't do anything, just moved some wires around, and it started working. and tested all the batteries, tested the charger. Everything works good. I thought it was maybe the charger, maybe the batteries. If golf cart batteries go bad, it's like the most expensive thing. So my batteries are good, praise report. Charger works, praise report. But now it's still broken down. So the cousin's husband's coming back tomorrow, and Lord willing, we'll get that fixed up. And I drove it all around for chores yesterday evening and all for chores this morning. The boys love it when I take them around the farm in it, and then it just won't move. So if Lord willing, we get that up and going this season, it's gonna be super helpful. Because yeah, we're getting it done, guys. Look at this. It's just like, yeah, it's an awesome work in progress. I'm just loving life out here. Take off your shoes, get it grounded in the garden, man. It feels good. And seeing how much soil we've actually built up by ripping up our landscape fabric, it's been crazy. Well, if you guys have any praise reports, put them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear. But I love hearing about you guys. It's so fun. Oh, I'll show it in my next video in the daylight. But a viewer sent us a bunch of tulips in the fall, and they're coming up. I'll show them to you. I'm so excited. So, anyways, there we go. Bye guys, I'll see you in my next video.